weekdays, not too serious. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tap Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of black talk radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning. God morning. Great morning. Happy morning. Happy Monday. You're listening to First Things First. And I'm not Dominique DiPrima. I'm James Farr, and I am subbing in this morning for Dominique DiPrima. She will be back tomorrow, so don't worry. She'll be back, with that hello sunshine. And as she always does, she kicks it off. So we're going to do it just like Dominique would do, a little bit of my version of it. So before I tell you about what we're going to do today, I want to invite you to follow us on social media at KBLA 1580 across all the social platforms. You follow Dominique as well at DiPrima Radio, and then if you want to follow me, that's James Farr Live. What's up with you? I'm so excited to be in here this morning. I know some of y'all are getting ready. I hope you've had your coffee, you're getting it going. You might already be outside in your cars, but this, as Dominique says, is first things first, and I want to say to the ancestors and to the KBLA delegation with much grace and gratitude. I appreciate you allowing me to share some of this space with you. How we do it here, or how Dominique does it, I guess I could say how I'm going to do it because I'm doing it right. Hour 3, we look at a topic or person of interest, and today I got a secret weapon that I want to share with y'all. We're going to have a in-depth conversation about emotional intelligence. Yep, that's right. It's my secret weapon. Derek D.B. Bedford is going to be joining us, and then in our second hour, at the bottom of the hour, black films are in trouble. Black independent films are in trouble. We want to explore how important documentaries are in this Trump era. And Cree Ray, a third-generation organizer and operator of the San Francisco Black Film Festival, she's going to be joining us. And, of course, it's Monday, and at the top of the hour, it's a Mindful Monday, and Sahara Ali will be here allowing us and helping us to set our intentions and get off with some good energy. And in this first hour, I'm going to welcome in, I was inspired. Last week you probably heard Dominique and I talking about the great late Honorable Nate Holden. Well, I left here, went to his memorial service, and I was just so inspired. So I invited his son, the Honorable Chris Holden, to join me this morning. We want to talk about his father's legacy. We want to discuss how he will be remembered in all of the work that he did in this great city of Los Angeles, right here in the 10th District, as well as up in Sacramento in the state Senate. But now it's just me, you, and the microphone. Miles is in the booth. It's a good time to call us at 800-920-1580. That's 1-800-920-1580. 1580 is always a good time to call. Miles, what's up with you, brother? How you doing? Miles went in and out. He's like Casper right now. He's doing a bunch of things. I think we first want to start out with in this first hour, we do local, right? We focus on the West Coast, the left coast, and all things that are local. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to talk with Mr. Holden this morning. Did y'all see that report in the news? Out of Ohio, they are looking for, and I'm trying to pull it up as we speak, but they're looking for a man who has been a fugitive for the last 50 years. They suspect that he is held up in Hawthorne or Gardena right now, and I'm gonna pull that up in just a second. What's up with you, Miles? How you doing this morning, brother?
James, I feel amazing, man, with a capital A.
Capital A?
It's Monday. I had a good weekend. I feel good. How are yourself, man?
Man, you know what? It is all good. What'd you do this weekend, brother?
Yesterday, man, I got a real good early morning refreshing bike ride down by the beach, bruh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that it's something about that ocean chi that really charged you up for the week.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, I feel good, man.
You didn't watch no sports? NBA finals have been set now. It's Indiana and OKC, right?
Yeah, we ain't watching that.
You ain't watching that?
look, this gonna be the finals. I was just clowning my boy, right? He works in the bar. And he gonna call me talking about, this is some of the best basketball I've ever seen. I'm like, bro, just because you're watching basketball now, you know what I mean? You're not a basketball fan. You're watching it now because you're at a bar and the finals are and the playoffs are on. We've been having great basketball. So it's not about the basketball, right? We're going to have good basketball. I'm not watching. I'll watch the highlights of this one.
You'll watch the highlights of this one. Yeah, I mean, they're expecting the ratings to be like super low because it's such a small market or whatever. And I don't recognize any of the players, right? That's I'm out of it.
Boys, cold though, man. These, like I said, we got some hoopers now, so it's not like we're not at a shortage of talent. It's not the talent. It's just like everything else. You know what I mean? Just kind of watered down. So if you're really a fan of these young boys, you'll watch them. But the storyline's not there. The superstar rhythm isn't there, and like I said, the market's not there either. So.
Well, you know.
Shout out Shea Alexander, man. He's playing his tail off. Halliburton's playing good.
See, I have no idea who any of those players play for. That's out of it. I
think check them out, man. Really check them out.
I mean, I watch, man, but you know they don't play in the paint no more. Everybody's shooting threes. It just I don't recognize the game. That's all.
Right. You know, there's been a lot of complaints too about the free throws and everything being such a petty foul, and you know, I mean, these guys having 30 points at the line every night. So you know, it's definitely a different game. But man, from a skill set standpoint, we there still.
Man, well, this is what we're gonna kick this thing off, Miles. When we come forward, Honorable Chris Holden is going to be joining us, and we're going to talk about his father's legacy and what exactly it means to be a public servant. You know, Chris formerly was in office at the California State Assembly, District 41. He also was a former city council member in the city of Pasadena, as well as a former mayor. And now he is the CEO of LA Fire Justice, a collective that's working out in the Altadena, Pasadena area. We'll catch up with Chris when we come forward, only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on! On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
KBLA Talk 1580. Yep, you're getting back to first things first, but I'm not Dominique DiPrima. I'm James Farr, and I'm subbing in for the Queen, who is taking the day. And again, don't worry, she'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure she misses you, but again, just because there's a substitute in the classroom doesn't give the delegation a reason to cut up today. All right, you know the phone lines are open: 800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. Now's a good time to give us a call. Nate Holden was a trailblazer, a bold voice in the California State Senate, a fearless Los Angeles City Council advocate, and a tireless fighter for justice, equity, and representation. He helped make California one of the first states to recognize Martin Luther King Day as a holiday here in the state. Well, there's a generational path here with Mr. Holden. I got 2 Holdens, right? I have his son, the Honorable Chris Holden, who I told you just a moment ago was a former assembly person, as well as Pasadena City Council member and former Pasadena mayor. And I invited Chris on to talk about the legacy of his father. So, Mr. Holden, are you there with us this morning?
I am, James. Good morning.
Good morning. I know it's early, and I appreciate you making yourself available. Just last Thursday, you laid your father to rest at the Crenshaw Christian Cathedral, right? And it was, I mean, I've been to services for dignitaries and people in the community, and I don't think I've quite been to one. It was just special. right? I mean, the service was beautiful. What can you share with us about last Thursday?
Well, it was an opportunity for us as a family to share our dad with a community that embraced him, loved him, supported him, and seemingly was always there for him. And so, these are kind of the roles that families have to play, when they have to let that person who is very much a public figure be able to be shared with the public. We actually laid Dad to rest last Tuesday on the 20th, I should say, on the 20th, and on a private ceremony at Forest Lawn. But this was really designed to be a celebration of life. We really wanted it to be not a somber time, but recognizing the spirit of my dad, the joy that he had, the love that he had for serving the community, and how he made that such a priority in his life. And we were just honored to have the community show up and to be able to do it in a way where it was about song, it was about dance, it was about the expression of the arts and how Dad's power and how his way of giving back was exemplified through the performances and the songs and the words that were spoken out, and it was just a wonderful time, and we had some great folks who had some great words to share and actually brought laughter.
It was a lot of laughter, But Glenn Thurman's reading of a Paul Robeson poem, that was so moving. I think everyone in the sanctuary felt. I mean, first of all, you had such a classic and professional performer, an actor, right? But you really felt it. Take me back, Chris, because when you learned about your father's passing, you were at a very public event. I had caught eyes on you, was headed over to say hello to you, and there were probably 300 people in the room. And
we were. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just go ahead. I mean, I know you left immediately. Pastor Gene Burke made the announcement, and you weren't there for that, but the air went out of the room. And so just trying to, what did you make it over to the hospital? What was that like?
Well, Dad had been we took him in the hospital that Friday before that Tuesday or Wednesday event, and it was really it was actually the third time that he had made his way back to the hospital with more of a respiratory type issues in terms of, at one point it was clots on the lungs, then it was a little bit of fluid that had built up, and I think it was just one of those situations. Each time you go in, it's a little, at that age, 95, and he was ready to turn 96. June 19th, Juneteenth would have been his 96th birthday, but on that particular time that we went in, it was sort of trying to figure out why he was still having some of the issues that he was, and then so he kind of. My dad was the type of person that he loved to live, and he loved to live to the fullest. And so when we found ourselves back in the hospital, and I think in his own mind he recognized that his ability to live the kind of life that he had lived, even like 95 last year, as 95-year-old, he was still driving his automobile. And that independence meant everything to him. And so on the day of this event in Pasadena, which I was putting together for the community and the work that I'm doing in the area, I had spent the Monday night with him, and then Tuesday I was with him, and then in the morning I spent the morning with him, and his vitals were strong. He looked like he was doing well. He was sleeping, so I thought, okay, I can make it. We can maybe make this happen. So as I made my way back to Pasadena and we started to make our get our way through and actually get into the event, which was around 5:30ish.
Mm-hmm.
I got a call, and folks were just starting to come in, and I got a call, and the doctor said that they pretty much had done everything that they could, and that this was a time to let the family know to make their way to the hospital. Well, at that particular time, I was in Pasadena, and he's in the hospital in Santa Monica. And when I asked, I said, well, how much time? I thought, well, do I still have time to maybe make it through this evening and then get over? And they said, no. They said, at any time. And so my wife, Melanie, was able, as she was getting there, she was to the event, and I was trying to at least let a few people know what was happening so that it wouldn't seem odd that I had put all of this and brought the community together.
Well, under the circumstances, I mean, I think everyone would have understood, right?
Right. And that's why we wanted to make sure everyone had awareness of what was going on. But the hard part for me was that I did not get to the hospital in time to be there with him at the time of his passing. But, it was, so that was hard because I did promise him I would be there at that particular time. But we had spent a lot of time together, and he knew I was there for him. And I appreciate the fact that Pastor Birch and others were able to step in and share with others what had just happened, and the kindness and the joy not joy, but the kindness and the prayers that went up that night from that event was very powerful, and it was felt by not only myself but the family.
While the program did obviously go on, the gallery in the back and the tables that I was at, person after person remarked about you being there for your father and being a doting son and looking out for your father, and as he was preparing to make his transition. And I hear you pause that you wanted to stay. You actually tried to make a decision of, could you do both? Is that something you got from your father? Service first, because you were there with the people about the people's business at that time. You weren't elected, but you were serving community.
Yeah, no, it's what he demonstrated throughout his life. And look, I learned so much, even more, about just not only the relationships that he had with so many people, but the depth of relationships that he had established with folks. I mean, a lot of times when you're in the public eye, you do what you can. You do so much, and you see how sometimes systems can bog down and create inefficiencies, and people are suffering as a result of that. My dad seemed to go deeper than that. He seemed to embrace whatever a person shared with him was their concern. He took it on as a personal crusade. He would work it, right? I mean, yes, there's staff that will take on and help move issues around and try to get solutions for what the concerns are, but he would take it upon himself. And it was not, and these were folks who were not always visible, in a public way. These are just your neighbors. These are people who say, the system's failing me. Right. Nate Holden, can you help me? And he stepped in. I mean, even in last year, as I shared last Thursday, while he was still driving, he would go on Saturdays and get vegetables from one of the local markets, and he would take it to the seniors. Tomatoes, he called me up. He said, "You guys need any tomatoes?" I say, "Well, okay, Dad. Well, what's going on?" He says, "I'm out here. I got to get it to the senior centers and to the seniors." And I remarked, I said, "But Dad, you're a senior." I thought, so even in the little things, he wasn't elected. It was just always from the heart. It was always from a place of trying to uplift and create some type of a better feeling that a person could have a situation that somebody cared, and that's, I guess that's what is part of the DNA, and I'm so blessed to have that as part of who I am too.
Well, Chris, can you stick around with us? I'm hard up on the clock, and because I want to continue the conversation with you just a little bit more. I want to talk about some of your father's accomplishments, what he was most proud of, right, and how he thinks Los Angeles will remember him. Many of us will recall the '92's civil unrest here in Los Angeles and the Crenshaw corridor, and I don't want to suggest what his accomplishments were, but that's certainly as I sit right here on Crenshaw Boulevard in Leimert Park, I think about some of that work as well as his advocacy for housing, but we'll talk more about that when we come forward. Chris Holden is my guest. You're listening to First Things First on KBLA Talk 1580. We got you black.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. One person is dead and 11 others injured after a mass shooting at a house party near Hickory, North Carolina. Authorities say around 80 shots were fired early Sunday.
Our investigation indicates more than one shooter was involved in the incident. We are still working to determine when they arrived, how they arrived, and what the reasoning was for their presence, also the motive.
The FBI and state investigators are now involved, but no arrests have been made. Tulsa, Oklahoma's new black mayor, Monroe Nichols, is proposing a $100 million private trust to support descendants of the 1921 race massacre. The plan includes scholarships and housing aid, not cash payments, and aims to revitalize North Tulsa. June 1st is now Tulsa Race Massacre Observance Day. And June is Pride Month, honoring LGBTQ history and culture. It began with the 1970 New York City Pride March 1 year after the Stonewall riots sparked a national movement. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A tough day for LA's major sports teams on Sunday. The only team to get a win was UCLA's baseball team. They beat UC Irvine 8-5 in the NCAA baseball tournament. UCLA advances to the Super Regional. They're only 2 wins away from the World Series in Omaha. UCLA's women's softball team was eliminated Sunday from the World Series in Oklahoma City. They lost to Tennessee 5-4 on a walk-off single in the 9th inning. UCLA finished an impressive season at 55-13. The LA Sparks lost at home to Phoenix 85-80, third straight loss for the Sparks in the WNBA. The Dodgers and Angels wrapped up the weekend with losses. The Yankees beat the Dodgers 7-3 to avoid a sweep. The Dodgers outscored the Yankees 29-14 in their 3-game series. The Angels fell 6 games below 500 after losing 4-2 at Cleveland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right. You're waking up to KBLA Talk 1580. First things first. But I'm not Dominique DiPrima. Dominique's taking a day. I'm subbing in for her. You've been hearing the promotions. Our KBLA 1580 4th anniversary events are fastly approaching, and seating at all 4 of our special events is getting real tight, y'all. Have you registered? Go to the KBLA.com website. If you have not, I'm encouraging you right now, you better register, right? It is filling up really quick. So don't get left out. It's our 4th anniversary, and we want to celebrate with you. If you are planning on joining us for our 4th anniversary celebration and the backyard barbecue on June 10th, we're asking that everyone in the KBLA delegation to bring a gift card to a grocery store, any grocery chain or restaurant. We're going to be donating those gift cards to victims or survivors, as we like to call them in community, of the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire. So our anniversary events are free, but seating is limited. You must register. You better do it now. I can't hook you up. So I'm joined by the Honorable Chris Holden, who is the son of the now late Nate Holden, who was a former city council member here in the 10th district of this great city of Los Angeles, as well as a former state senator. And we're talking with Chris about his father. And so, Chris, I was saying before we came forward, what was your father most proud of?
I think in terms of accomplishments, it's really hard to sort of pinpoint one, but I know that while he was in the California State Senate, he was able to author legislation that paved the way for the Martin Luther King celebration holiday, and it became California became the first in the nation to recognize Dr. King's accomplishments through a holiday, and so that obviously became a national holiday. But it first began with Dad's bill. He was also very proud, while in the Senate, of authoring legislation to give a woman an opportunity to get credit in their own name. You would think that would have not been still an issue while he was in the legislature in the 70s, but it was. And through his actions, he was able to put in place a law that women who had to have a male figure in their life, a father, a brother, uncle, co-sign to be able to get credit. This law changed that and gave a woman the independent right to establish her own credit in her own name. He was very proud of that. And I will say that when he joined me on the floor when I was sworn into office in 2012, and my opening floor speech was recognizing my dad for that accomplishment. After we broke up, the Women's Caucus got together, and they brought him over so that they could take a picture with him as that person who did that amazing legislation. I tried to get in the picture, but they asked me, respectfully to stand away. So, not you, Holden, just Holden.
Not the junior assembly member, right? Like you,
no,
you hadn't put it. You hadn't
do anything yet.
You hadn't done anything yet. And framing that up. I mean, did you ever feel like you were, there was pressure to, achieve as much as he did through your political career? I mean, you've been at the municipal level and at the state level. Right.
It's interesting that when you look at the years I spent on the Pasadena City Council and as mayor, which was nearly 24 years, and 12 years in the California State Legislature, I've actually served in elected office longer than Dad. But he came along at a time where his anti-redlining legislation, the ones I just talked about, recognizing certain genetic diseases that impact African Americans at a disproportionate level, that needed to put more resources into addressing. I mean, the things that he was dealing with, housing discrimination, many other things we're still dealing with, but these were groundbreaking moments that legislation that was being done in California became sort of the precursor to federal laws that were moving forward. We heard Congresswoman Maxine Waters describe the legislation around housing and also around giving women the right to have credit in their known name as that which she was able to use as the chair of banking and finance and to be able to put pressure on the industry. So those kind of things reverberated in a major way. But no, I never really felt the pressure because it was clear that my dad had his own style. Mine's a little different in terms of how I get things done. His was very much, he has a certain charisma. He had a certain way of attacking the issues and the people who got in the way of him being able to move forward issues. He had no problem calling folks out. He had no problem calling a press conference. He had no problem being one out of 15 to go in an opposite direction on the city council. If he believed that what he was doing was correct and it was to benefit the people, he had no problem at all being an adversary in those moments. But his love for public service, his intellect, his ability to have, at one point, have been an engineer, systems engineer, working for Hughes Aircraft, designing satellites that are put up in space at that time that make it available for us to use cell phones today. It's all the different things he's done over his life that positioned him to represent. And that was something that I didn't know about his background, because I remember the first time I met your father, he was in office, and I didn't know anything about the engineering background, and also that he was very fond of the arts. But before we kind of unpack the art piece of it, it's your second generation, right? In the Holden bloodline, the Hold office. Who is Nicholas Holden? Oh, that's my son. my son Nicholas. He's a deputy supervisor with working in her office, Janice Hahn's office. And he's been with her since the beginning, so he's been there about 8 years plus. And I'm not sure. Nick loves the policy. He loves working kind of behind the scenes, but you just never know. He might wake up one morning and find his rhythm to wanting to be out in the public eye and
I tell you, as I was sitting in that sanctuary, right, and Nicholas got up to speak, right, I immediately recognized him. Probably the last time I saw him, he was a teenager, right? And I'm like, who's this? Right. Who's this young adult Holden, right, standing up there? Right. But when he started to speak, I closed my eyes, and I heard your dad. Wow. And I opened my eyes, and I saw your mannerism.
Wow. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Is there a future there for him? I mean,
well,
come on, Nick.
Look, I think first of all, I will say this, that, Nick is he's got a great heart. He is finding that he loves, he's finding a vibe in being able to serve. So the fundamental part for being able to run for office is that what kind of a servant are you going to be? Are you going to be one who is going to really roll up the sleeves, get down into the soil along with the community, and start to cultivate, or it's going to be at different levels. You can see it. You can measure it around others who are in these positions. Our tradition is, and it's interesting that he's working for a Hahn because my dad worked for Kenny Hahn. So there is something connective tissue between the Hahns and the Holdens.
I see.
And I think, and one of the things that I've always noticed is that whether it was Dad or Kenny Hahn or how I tried to deal with to lead was to don't lose sight of the small things. The small things make a big difference in people's lives. You're cleaning up the alleys, trimming the trees, making sure that there's resources making their way back to the community. And I see that Nicholas is working in a space where he's being introduced to that as well. And so we'll see what the future holds for him. I know that he loves the work that he's doing. He is developing great skill sets in the process. And, we'll let God take him to the next level.
Tell me about your dad's love of art. I mean, we're all familiar with the Nate Holding Center for the Performing Arts up on Washington, which Tavis Smiley will be hosting his Climate Justice Symposium on June 18th. Airing on C-SPAN. How did that come about? Because I saw his name on the building, right? And I just thought he was an elected who had his name on a building. I didn't get the fullness of the art. How important was art to him and to the family? And we just got a couple of minutes hard up on the clock.
Sure, no problem. Well, first of all, I think that arts is the spiritual beat of a community. It helps give purpose and gets a community working together and understanding the values of arts and culture. And I know that for my dad, it was very important to be able to support the community. The community wanted to maintain the theater in the community, and there was some lacking in resources. He locked arms with them. They were able to get the resources to rebuild the theater. And once they did, the community came together and decided they wanted to name it after Dad because of his hard work to get the money to make sure that City Hall was paying attention to this important aspect, and to bring that back to life was very much a part of what he wanted to do as in supporting the community. And he loved the arts, but I think it's more than anything else. It's just caring about what the community cared about.
What do you want Los Angeles to know? I'm gonna give you the last minute, Chris, about you, your dad, the family,
I appreciate that, James. I mean, first of all, I would say for Dad, he's always had a fighter spirit. You know, he was a boxer at 12, 14. He wanted to go to war and fight Hitler in World War II. They wouldn't let him because he was too young. At 16, he upped his age to 17, and they let him in. And he went and started in that crusade as a patriot. His whole life has been about fighting for change. He sued Hughes Aircraft because they were not promoting African Americans, and he won. He ran for office because he wanted to make a change. He didn't win the first several times, but when he became a senator and he had an opportunity to show what he could do, he did that. And he said, look, you know, he reminded us all, it's not where you serve, it's how you serve. And for us, that was the spirit of what service represented. You don't have to be elected to make a difference in your community. And his voice and his actions lined up in such a way that I think he'll always be remembered for someone, whether he won or lost, and whoever supported him loved him, and whoever did not respected him. And I think that from that standpoint, mission accomplished.
There is a lot of love in the YouTube chat. Molly Bell, straight out of Compton, says that they love them some Nate Holden, so they appreciate his service. Chris, I appreciate you checking in with us. Say hello to Melanie and the family, and you are certainly in our thoughts and prayers as you transition. I've been there, so I do understand, my friend. So again, thank you so much for joining us. When we come forward, we got a lot more to talk about, only on KBLA Talk 1580, your ancestors' favorite radio station.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent. And the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember.
No warrant, no key. My privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other black influencers in the climate and health fields as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome forward. And you're talking about a righteous rage. You know, I appreciate Chris Holden checking in with us and sharing with us. But now I'm pissed. I can't say that on air. I'm gonna get in trouble. But this next situation, just you've heard Dominique and I talk about it. She's reported on it extensively. Trevor Kirk, the former Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy that assaulted our dear sister, an elder sister in Lancaster at the Winco shopping grocery store, was tried by a jury of his peers, convicted, facing 10 years in prison, federal prison. But then federal Judge Stephen Wilson, downgraded the charges, and today is sentencing. Today, many organizations, including Cancel the Contract, Black Lives Matter, Los Angeles, and others, will be on the steps of the federal courthouse holding space, holding solidarity, holding a rally, holding a press conference, and holding a protest. And I have Allende from Black Lives Matter Los Angeles on the line. What's happening today at 12, Allende?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir.
Well, today at 12 noon, like you said, we'll be out there holding a rally and a press conference in opposition to the decision that Judge Stephen Wilson made to downgrade the felony charge that he was convicted with into a misdemeanor. So we want to bring the community out, make sure that they are aware of the backdoor deals and the systematic protections that have been given to the LA County Sheriff's Department and the implications that has onto our communities, Black communities, brown communities, the communities that are being policed, and the harm that has been going on that other communities don't have to feel, and how this is a demonstration of how some people are, in fact, above the law.
Man, I almost lost it in court the other week when I heard the U.S. attorney, who I at that point I couldn't tell if he was representing the government or the defendant. But when I heard him you saw the video, right, brother? I heard him use the language that it was barely excessive. I almost lost my stomach hearing that. What's the ask today? What are you guys asking folks to do?
So the main ask that we have today is for the Peace Officers Standards and Safety Post, the California agency, who through SB2 now has the ability to decertify officers in the state of California to step in, because they don't need a guilty verdict. They don't need a felony conviction to be able to step in under serious misconduct and to actually be certified. For those that don't know what that means, it just means to take the license that permits Trevor Kirk to be an officer away from him. So what we want to do today is amplify those voices, get people to write into posts, let them know that we are paying attention, that we are seeing, and that a lot of these things that they believe that the public isn't paying attention to, because I don't believe that they understand that Black people have the understanding of how these systems work now. You get impacted by something long enough, you'll figure out how it works. And this is one of those instances and cases where we say, okay, Stephen Wilson, he let us down on this, and the justice system has let us down on this, but there are other ways that we can pull on now to ensure that some of this is served. Now, with a felony conviction, it would have stopped him from being able to be an officer in any state. But now we're going to just depend on the decertification process by way of post in the state of California, and that will keep him from going to other agencies and being able to still be an officer and police these communities.
And post is police officers standards and training, right? That is the certifying body, right? That
is right.
Okay. And so explain that legislation real quick. So you said there's the decertification legislation, and what does that mean?
Yes. So basically in 2021, there was a Senate bill that's called SB2 that was passed in the state of California. And what that did is it set grounds for certain criteria like dishonesty, sexual misconduct, excessive force, to go under a review process through the boards that
beating
are
beating your wife. Don't forget Trevor. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Exactly. So exactly like that, they have those now set up so that when those things are in place, they go under the review board of post, and once that's done, they're actually able to be decertified if deemed so. Now, this is relatively new legislation for the state of California, new law in the state of California. So once it was implemented, they went back 2 years and they started to review all of the cases that were there before the law was implemented. So 2021, that puts us in 2023. We're only at 2025 now.
Are you aware of any officers that have been decertified as a result of this legislation?
Yes, but yes, sir, but not necessarily ones that I feel should have been decertified. Okay. And I feel like this is one of the instances where we're in a very unique case where Trevor Kurtz has been proven in court to be guilty. He's been convicted of a felony, and he fits the criteria perfectly for the decertification process. So if Trevor Kurtz is not decertified by Post, then we also know that the Post boards are not working correctly. So it doesn't make any sense, or it does no good to have a board in place or a law in place that is not utilized or can't be utilized properly because we have the wrong people sitting in those seats. So this will identify either that the law is working correctly and it also works for the people, or it only works when the officers don't do what the blue line says. Because the officers that I've seen before, they were decertified under the grounds of dishonesty, but they also fell under the codes of what the officers wouldn't have liked anyway.
Well, real quick, because we hard up on the clock. You know this clock works around here. Where?
Yes, sir.
What time? Give it to me in 15 seconds.
12 noon. That's going to be right in front of the courthouse. Let me give you the address. The address is located on. Sorry about that, man. Let me pull this up real quick.
It's at the federal courthouse on First Street, right?
Federal courthouse. Yeah, 350 West First Street in downtown Los Angeles. You're going to be on the main steps on First and Hill Street. So we want y'all to meet us there. Bring your signs, bring your voices, bring your people, and let's make some noise and make some change.
Oh, good. We got to go, brother. When we come forward, Sahara Ali is on the line with Mindful Mondays. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. One person is dead and 11 others injured after a mass shooting at a house party near Hickory, North Carolina. Authorities say around 80 shots were fired early Sunday.
Our investigation indicates more than one shooter was involved in the incident. We are still working to determine when they arrived, how they arrived, and what the reasoning was for their presence, also the motive.
The FBI and state investigators are now involved, but no arrests have been made. Tulsa, Oklahoma's new black mayor, Monroe Nichols, is proposing a $100 million private trust to support descendants of the 1921 race massacre. The plan includes scholarships and housing aid, not cash payments, and aims to revitalize North Tulsa. June 1st is now Tulsa Race Massacre Observance Day. And June is Pride Month, honoring LGBTQ history and culture. It began with the 1970 New York City Pride March 1 year after the Stonewall riots sparked a national movement. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The only team to get a win was UCLA's baseball.